I am with Living Blue in Texas. Today I am meeting with Francine Ly. She is here in North Texas with me, and she is running for Congressional District 24, which is I'll avoid calling people names in my opening statement, but Congressional District 24, which is Beth Van Doyne. Francine, hi, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you and share my candidacy, my announcement with your viewer. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into it. And some people in North Texas might already be familiar with Francine. She ran for the state Senate last session. It was so gerrymandered. That's a whole nother topic. But why did you decide to run for Congress and against Beth Van Doyne this next election, which is going to be in 2024?
Many reasons. Beth Van Doyne live in the same neighborhood. She was my mayor, and now she's my congresswoman. And I just don't think that we have the same ideology. I had been planning to run, but as you know, I think Jan McDowell's been running, so I just sat back and let her go at it. But I believe right now it's time. Jan's not running for 24, so I told her, we spoke, and she says she's not running, and I told her that I'll be running. So just as courtesy, because she's former candidate, you want to be courteous and let them know that you're running, and there may not be a fight, and there isn't.
Right.
At present, we don't know who else will be joining the game, but I think that representation is very important to me. Running for Senate reveals a lot of lack of representation in our community. So that's why I'm running. Most people said, representation, that's cliche, but boils down, that's what it is. You want someone to be there to be your voice, not there to just line their pockets with taxpayer money.
Yeah, right. Or go against the wishes of the voters, or in like Van Doyne's case, break their constitutional oath.
Many more.
many more. Not a huge fan of her. But so Irving, and that area, Capel, kind of towards the airport, does have a large AAPI community. However, the current incumbent has a history of directly working against the AAPI community. How do you think that you can get them more involved in the voter process? And, tell me what that's going to look like.
To be clear, Irving was cut out of Senate District 24.
Okay.
She only kept a neighborhood, our neighborhood. So the entire Senate District 24 been cut out. She, as the mayor of Irving, you figure you want your city, but she cut that out, and we are going out working with our community leader, organizing, talking to them, and a majority of them is like you said, not very happy with her because of what she did back in 2014, 2015 when the incident with Muhammad.
Right.
Mr. Hamad happened when he, as a student, 14-year-old student, went to school with a science project and got arrested.
Yeah.
And was scapegoated, and he left. The parent, the family left Texas, and is and that's sad, because a young man that is as intelligent as he is, should have been cultivated, encouraged, and weave into the fabric of our democracy. But instead, he got, called
Ostracized.
out, ostracized. And, you know, for a 14-year-old, I have a 14-year-old, and that is traumatic. And who knows what it affects, you know. And she, as a mother herself, I was just shocked that you would do that to anyone's child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, not to, you know, be a broken record, but, you know, for those of you who don't know, Beth Van Doyen is the person who was generally behind the anti-Muslim movement in 2015. It started with her. It started in Irving, you know, and then it kind of moved on to the protests at the mosques. Then the legislators were calling her down to Austin to help them, you know, write anti-Muslim legislation, which never passed. Then she wound up working for Trump. And I forgot, she was appointed something in yeah, I forgot. Yeah, and then she ran for Congress, and her first act of Congress was to vote to overturn the 2020 election. So, you know, we all know, I think that we're all in agreement, she's bad. Why are you good?
Why am I good? Okay. Well, as you know, you may not know, I'm a first generation Asian American. I came here as a child refugee, an asylum seeker. We fled Cambodia under the Khmer Rouge regime, and we were brought to America, which I am so thankful for. We came here with nothing, all right? No money, no family, unaware of what the culture's like. We don't speak the language. So it was really, really hard for us to assimilate, to learn, and it's the community that helped us. I did not learn English until I was not at least 9, when I first enrolled into the Dallas Independent School District and start learning my ABCs. And that was for us, all of us, our family. None of us knew the language. So, you know, and you know, you have individual organization that help us, right? Like churches, community center, and just the community coming together to help each above uplift and not exclude. So I think that and not just focus on one person or one centralized community. I think if you look at Ms. Van Dyne's record, she, you know, yeah, she touted herself as small business. And yeah, that's great. We're here, you know, this is capitalism. We want everyone to succeed, but let's not forget the others. You know, you got the working family. So, you know, the mom, the dad, those that are having to work 2-3 jobs, you know, the expense of trying to make ends meet, you know, the daycare, you know, it's all that. And I just think that I'm more in tune with our community, being that I've worked my way up to where I am.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. So you mentioned the working class, and that kind of sticks with me because this morning I was listening to a Texas legislative hearing, and they talked about how 60% of Texas children were economically disadvantaged. So, you know, those are obviously the children of, you know, working class. A big part of that is Texas's minimum wage, which is the federal minimum wage. What do you think we should do about the federal minimum wage? Yeah. So if you get elected,
yeah.
Right.
You know, I'm not sure right now about the federal minimum wage. I know everybody wants an increase, but for me, I think it's better if we do not. It's a fairly new idea. It's called OT40, meaning that because you hear it. People says, you know, I don't want to work overtime because you start being taxed at a different bracket, and you know, like you work 50 hours and you're still bringing home 40 hours worth of pay because of that tax. And I think we're if possible, if elected, I would like to be able to get rid of the overtime, you know, just not taxed after 40 hours, right? You work your 40 hours, you tax, you pay into it. And then anything extra, let's just not tax it. And it helps both the worker and the employer, because, you know, as the employer, you have to pay half of your employees' taxes, right? So that helps both the employee and the employer. Same thing, you know, it also, for those who are on salary that gets bonuses, let's just cap it at 10,000. You get the first 10,000, yeah, everybody pay taxes on it. But after 10,000, I don't know who makes more than 10,000, but like working class, like, wow, we get a $10,000 bonus. That'd be awesome, right? So, you know, just that would help. So, because it's unpopular with the federal minimum wage with small business, especially small business, because they're having to not only pay their employee, but they also have to foot half their bill for taxes, right? So instead of let's say $15 an hour, let's just say, okay, fine, you get paid $10 an hour, you work overtime, we'll tax you based on that. But then anything overtime, you know, there's no tax, and it helps both the employer and the employee with, you know, revenue.
Okay, absolutely. So one of Biden's big agendas right now, or, you know, assuming he's going to be reelected in 2024, is reducing carbon emissions. Here in Texas, we have a lot of carbon emissions because we are the oil and gas state. What do you think can be done and should be done from a federal level to reduce, I guess, pollution and carbon emissions, and to help slow down our climate crisis?
We know that the Industrial Revolution started in the 20th century, and that's when our environment become polluted with all those, you know, huge smokestacks, right? You figure after a century, with as many intelligent scientists, engineers that are out there, climate activists, that we would have already found a way to limit our CO2 emission, right? I'm a believer. I'm here on borrowed time. I would like to exit this world, leaving it better for our future, for our grandkids. And I just find, to me, as a first generation Asian, I'm seeing that those that are currently in office are perpetuating this climate crisis that we have. And that is because I think they're I guess, you know, lobby, right?
Yeah.
You know, they got and I know campaign are expensive. But when you sell yourself, you know,
Yeah,
to the devil, you do the devil's work. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go there.
No, and I agree with you, and likely most of my viewers will agree as well.
But for me, I mean, as a small family, for me, just me, my family, you know, we recycle, right? We do what we can. I do have 2 electric vehicles. So, you know, we're doing our best to minimize our carbon footprint. And I'm hoping that those who will vote for me are aligned with my beliefs, that they're sending me there to help everybody on a macro scale. Right now, it's just micro, right? Just me and my family and friends and neighbor that are just doing our part. But once I'm up in the legislature, Congress, I mean, that, you know, we'll be able to work collectively to lower that and encourage my fellow congressmen, women to do the same thing. And before, not too long, we're you know, each link, when we start linking each other, we'll have a more voice, more volume, and be able to do more. Right now, you know, like you and I, right? Just ourselves, just our little little neighborhood.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so another thing that's, you know, definitely a hot topic. I know it's a hot topic right now because the Texas legislature is in session, but cannabis, do you think it should be legalized on a federal level?
Yes. So it would benefit revenues wise, right? So let's just say Texas. Texas do not have personal income tax. All we have are sales tax and appraisal. How are we going to get more revenue? How are we going to generate more revenue? We can't increase any more sales tax. No, there'd be a riot on our hand. And same thing with property tax. It's an all-time high.
Yeah.
We have to come up with another revenue source. And cannabis is one of those viable source. You've seen other states done it. That's another stream of revenue that we can have that brings into our economy. And it helps not only revenue, but I think it may clear up our jail and because those, to maintain it, costs money too, to maintain those facilities. So I think it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's safe. It's safe. People say, well, you can't be addicted. Like, no, you're looking at, it's not, it's just, it has medicinal value. It has recreational use, and it's already been heavily regulated as it is. So might as well bring it in as a revenue source that helps everybody.
Yeah.
And that funding could go help, be funneled to our police department, because right now that will help with mental health training, so that they can identify, instead of this shoot first, ask question later, right? I love my police department, but the fact that most of them are shoot first, ask question later is scary to not just me, but to everybody. And if we can have, more revenue funnel into the department so that they can train them, we all do it. Like, as a professional, we have to do continuing education, right? And that could be part of it. That could be part of a way to help our police department with because that's the deal. They always say, we don't have the staff, we don't have the funding, we don't have the manpower to provide these desperately needed services. And this could be, revenue there's a way to come in, instead of going to the cartel, let's help the community.
Absolutely. And so speaking of a cartel, and this is on the tips of the tongues of every single Republican, from Texas to New York, is border security, and more so about immigration. You're a first generation immigrant. Where do you stand on the border? What's going on? What do you think should be done? How would you vote on it if you're elected?
Right. I want to say I'm not for open borders, but we do need a safe border, right? Because I want to, nobody's going to come just because they want to come. They may come for education. They come to America for the dream that we promise, the promised dream, right? The dream that you can achieve if you work hard and you're a law-abiding citizen, right? And that's the American dream. You work hard, you behave, you don't commit crime, you become a productive member of society. And the reason we came again is to escape, to survive. It's for survival. Who would want to uproot their whole family if they have that same opportunity that all Americans do, and they just want to achieve that dream? If once I'm in Congress, all right, and I understand they're all saying that the border crisis, if it's truly is a crisis, a humanitarian crisis, then let's call upon our friends, the UN, right? The Red Cross, the United Way. These were the people that were there when I was at the refugee camp, helping, getting everybody relocated, resettled. So let's do that. If it is truly, then just let's do it. Okay, right. Let's do it. If it is a true crisis, instead of political football, If it
Yeah.
is a crisis, let's do it. Let's do it. If your heart's there, it can be done. It can be fixed. It can be resolved. Maybe I'm just being a glass half full person, but I've lived it. I've lived it, so I know it's possible.
Okay. And one of the problems that, the reason people from, Central America and Mexico are coming to America is increased violence. Part of the reason for their increased violence is we have the steady stream of guns going south of our border. So we're sending 2,000 guns a day to Mexico, because, here in Texas, everywhere in America, everybody's got, a pistol, a long gun, a shotgun. They've got it all. Right. So what, and especially like when we're looking at places like Uvalde and Sutherland Springs and Parkland and things like that, what do we do to reduce gun violence in this country?
As you know, I'm a legal profession. I work in the legal field. I'm a paralegal. I'm not a lawyer. So my next comment might get me some haters. And it's not that I'm litigious, but you know what? Product liability. Mm-hmm. Right? Get rid of the immunity. You want to create a product that harms people, there got to be, repercussion. And again, I'm sure somebody's going to hate me for saying that, but right? We have that. We have that, let's do it. Right now, they're immune.
Right. And it will take an act of Congress to unimmune them. I don't know if that's a word, but to
lift the immunity. Yes, they need to. We need to. You know what? That it's not that I'm so happy, but that's the only way to get these huge corporation to start becoming responsible, right? We have that with the seatbelt, right? Airbags. The automaker, we make sure that they protect us. Now, we are required to get insurance for our automobiles, not protect us, but to protect them, right? So why not? Why that industry? Why is that industry protected?
Yeah. Absolutely. So somebody that we all wish would go away is Donald Trump. And it's important to talk about, not because we want to talk about him, we're sick of him, but because in Congress right now, he is the topic all of the time, whether that is, talking about his crimes or talking about the Republicans, how unfair he's treated, but that's not true. But, there has been legislation, from the Republicans, trying to protect Trump for whatever he did. Where do you stand on that? And what do you think about the people who try to overturn the 2020 election? Should they be on committees? Should they be in Congress? Tell me your thoughts.
As a first generation Asian American, I was naturalized. I became a citizen. I took the oath of allegiance to protect our country, to the flag, not to one person, one man. Okay. And it hurts. Seeing the events unfold on TV of January 6th really was painful to watch as they carry the flag and start beating the officer for someone that demonize the Democratic Party for defunding the police or misusing that term to themselves, egged on by the president of the United States, the most powerful, prestigious individual to go down and overturn a free and fair election. And as an individual, like I said, I'm in the legal profession, law and order, he himself says he's a law and order person, but he went and just took everything that we all believed in, hold true, hold sacred, and just tainted it.
Right.
Tainted it. I just don't know how we're gonna recover other than starting, electing individual that will try to bring, I'm not saying I'm not all holy, just, someone that truly holds our value. Okay. And in here is what's important. When you flash it out here, it's not so much, but when you truly hold it in here,
Right.
that's where that's genuine. That's genuine compassion, understanding of pain that others suffer, and you do your best to eliminate that. I don't believe Mr. Trump understands, the struggles, the sacrifices everyday American go through.
Yeah.
And I know he has the 1% supporting him, but there are other 99% that goes through hardship on a daily basis. And to answer your question, I just feel like that the American, I believe in we, the people, and we, the people, showed him that his behavior is unbecoming of the office. And we voted him out, and he is sour about it. He's just a bully. He's just he's just a sore loser. But he doesn't understand. We, the people, want someone better, someone that holds our value. And I think, not being biased, but I believe that our president, Joe Biden, has done just that, is doing that, and will continue to do that. And bring, now makes me proud, make me proud to be an American again. And America is my home. Like I said, we had to evacuate, we had to flee. And it was really painful that during his presidency, and especially when he started to instigate all the racial attacks on my community. And, I worried. I got 4 kids, and there's a target on their back for no reason other than the color of their skin. They were born here. They're American through and through, but except for the color of their skin.
Right.
And that was painful. It's still painful. So, other individual, talk to your kids. My 16-year-old was learning to drive, for the first time. We have that, like the president said in his State of the Union, many of us don't think about it, but like me, my husband, I have to talk with him, no sudden movement, turn your light on in the car, keep your hand on the steering wheel, and no sudden movement, because, I want you to come home. I don't want to give them a reason to, take you from me. And that's painful. That's painful. And that's because of Trump. I know it's been there. The racism, I know it's there. I grew up on the east side of Dallas, and it's really rough. You have Blacks, African-American, Asian, and all mixed, all community, and they're at each other fighting for that same scarce resources. And so we know when the resources scarce you, that's when you start fighting each other. When it's abundant, everybody's all friendly, but when it's scarce, that's where you start fighting for that same. And the American people gotta understand that top 1%, just because they throw you some bones every now and then, they're not your friends. They're not your friends.
Right. So we're definitely divided in this country. We are definitely, and you and I, and most of my viewers, I realize there may be a Republican or two out there watching me, but most of us, we don't have that us versus them mentality. But what we saw with Trump and the people who follow Trump, was, it's us or it's them, and let's hurt them. Let's get them. Let's do this. Let's do that. And that's not the America that we live in, and that's not the America that we value. And I think that you definitely hit the nail right on the head. And so, making America a better place, making Texas a better place. As I do know that it's going to take a lot of work. And so, one thing that comes to mind is things like healthcare or childcare, because these are things that the people of Texas need. So if you go to Congress, if you are elected, what are your thoughts about those type of programs, or what can the government do to help the people just, make it, just get through?
Right now, I know that, our population is declining, and, and that's birth rate are declining. And that's true. It's so expensive to be parents. Childcare is like you almost your whole paycheck. If you're a working family, it's like, okay, I'm paying someone so that I can go to work, but I work, all the money's going to them. So, it's expensive. And unless you have like a grandparents or a neighbor, an auntie that can keep your kids, it's unaffordable. Honestly, I would continue some of these child tax credit that we have enjoyed during the pandemic. Yeah. That really does help. And then, I always tease growing up, I don't remember eating, but apparently I must have, because I'm here. So, I want to make sure that, kids are fed. If you truly care about life, if you really, truly care about life, you will ensure that the resources to ensure that a child grows up healthy and safe is there. Not cut it until it's impossible to care for a child. I don't want to go on a tangent, but like the foster care, right? Foster care system, and the abortion ban, and it's like, I know I'm getting off topic. Sorry. Yes, if and when I'm elected, I will make sure that we have affordable health care. If you're sick, you can't work. If you can't work, there's no income. No income, you're going to lose your car, your home, your livelihood. And we all worry about that, right? So first and foremost, you have to be healthy in order to be able to be the individual that bring home the bacon. Right? You have to be healthy. You can't take care of anybody if you're not healthy. And for a country as big as ours, as resourceful, as wealthy as ours, to have individual uninsured dying, just not have insulin, it's heartbreaking. And I know we can do this. Other countries have done it. And, it's like I said, it's maybe their lobbyists, they're slave to the corporate elite, the big pharma. I'm not sure, but I'm going to let you know, when elected, I'm here for the people. Okay. I'm here for my constituency. I'm not here to help, sure, if you want to donate, great, I'll take it. But understand that every decision in office will be based on the needs of the community, based on the needs of the people in Congressional District 24, and based on Texans' needs. Yes, we got to make sure that nationally we're safe and secure, but what's the use of security if everybody in your network is not healthy and is frail and is, dying, right? So I hope I answered that question properly.
Yeah, and you answered it perfectly. And, that's what we need as Americans. We need people in office who are working for their communities and not for big business and big oil and big pharma. And hopefully If you're elected, that will be you. So we are just about out of time. I have really enjoyed getting to know you and learning more about your positions. We have got, I don't want to know, it's like what, 20 months until the election? It's a long time.
Start now, please. Yes, start now. We can't wait till after the primary. No, I'm starting now. I'm going out there, meeting people, talking to them, listening to them, getting what their ideas, what concerns them. Because when elected, I need to go up there and ensure that their concerns are addressed. And yes, you got to work with everybody, bipartisanship, right? You got to work with your Republican colleague. You got to with your Democratic colleague. You got to work with your constituency, and you also got to work with corporate elite. But got to understand, when elected, my sole responsibility is to be your voice.
Okay, perfect. So how do people find you online, on social media? Where are you at?
I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I am on, you can always, on the web, all right? So it's Francine Ly for Congress.com. It's Team Fly for Texas on Twitter. It's Team Fly, also Team Fly for CD24 on Instagram, and yes, Team Fly for Texas on Facebook as well. So, or my name, Francine Ly for Texas.
Okay, perfect. Well, I again, I appreciate you coming on today, and we are going to have to talk again sometime soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.